What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the FitBiz Podcast. Today, I'm going to share with you how I had an Instagram reel go viral. And actually, as the time of recording this podcast, just hit 1 million views, 30,000 shares. I mean, it went gangbusters. And I'm going to break down exactly how we did it. It was very intentional, and how you can do that too within your health, fitness business, or whatever business you're in. And I'm also going to break down a specific content strategy with you to understand how to balance between trying to get more followers and going viral and getting shares and all those things, while also making sure to create the kind of content that's going to actually lead to clients, because a lot of times those things aren't necessarily the same thing. So I'm going to break all that down in here, but I'm going to start with how this sort of came up. So Aaron and I were on a flight maybe a week ago. I think it was like 8 days ago. And I was just talking to her. I'm like, I really think I can make a reel go viral if I really try. I've really never tried. And so her and I kind of brainstormed for 30 minutes and thought about an idea and an angle. We came up with one, and she gave me some really helpful tips where I was going to post it one way, and she's like, hey, maybe do this instead. And I went with her, and little did I know, the very first reel that I ever posted with the actual intent of like, hey, I want to try to make this go viral is now at 1 million views, and it's still climbing. It's gaining like 120,000 views every single day. Just to kind of share, I'm going to go ahead and share screen to show you some of the insights here. All right, so I'm going to show you the analytics, and then I'm going to break down the exact steps that we used and tactics that we used to make this thing pop off. So you'll see here, as it stands today, there's 1 million views, about 30,000 likes, 257 comments. And to be honest, I haven't responded to any of those comments, but 31,500 shares and 1,833 saves. But the other really cool thing is I'm at almost 600 followers. And you'll see here the breakdown of like reach. So it's reached almost 612,000 accounts, which is huge because our organic content, a typical month might reach 1 million people. So this one post almost reached more than half of that. And 98.9% were non-followers. Only 1.1% were followers. This thing has 1,700 hours of view time. And so I've gotten almost 600 followers from this, which is kind of cool. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do here is actually just play the reel for you so you guys can see it. And if you're listening to this, you can just go to my profile. It's like one of my recent posts. You'll see the one with way more views than any other post. So this is it. So that's pretty much it. Wanted to share that so you understand what it was. And for those listening, basically it was just a B-roll of me doing deadlifts. I was pulling like 500 something pounds. So that right away looks interesting. I'm pretty shredded right now. So my shoulders had a bunch of striations, but the B-roll had Jackson standing there watching me through his little baby gate fence. And basically the text said, people think that I work out. It says, people think I work out for my job. My wife thinks it's to look good for her. It's really because one day my son will be in an argument with his friends about whose dad would win in a fight to the death. And we're not losing that debate. So that was the reel. Okay. Now, what we did is first we created an open loop. Instagram puts a lot of value on the percent of video that people watch. So if your video is, let's say, I think this was 8 seconds, if you can have a high percentage of people with an average watch time of almost 8 seconds, that tells the algorithm like, hey, this is a really valuable post. So my average watch time was 8 seconds because I created an open loop where the text on the screen, they had to wait to the end of the video to see like the loop being closed. Okay. So basically forced the viewer to watch the whole video to get the payoff, where a lot of times we create content and we just give the thing away right away. Number two is we used an emotional or aspirational led B-roll video. So we did both of these. One, it's aspirational because of the way I look, deadlifting out of a garage, a really nice house is in the background. But more importantly was the emotional led angle. So the B-roll itself is key. It shows my son watching me do deadlifts, which automatically triggers an emotion, especially with parents, right? Emotion drives engagement. You have to remember that. So either an aspirational type emotion you're trying to trigger, or maybe a laughter or an, oh, that's cute. Either one of those, any of those can work. All right, the third thing was we used a paradox, meaning you think that this post is going to go one way, and then we shift and it goes a totally different way. People think that I work out for my job. My wife thinks it's to look good for her. And people are like, oh, like I wonder where this is going. And then when it shifted, it was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. So it gave the viewer a little bit of a laugh. And anytime you can evoke laughter, so because this evoked laughter, I think it triggers people to be more likely to want to share it. Because when people share things, it's for the propensity of status. They want to gain status knowing like, I shared this thing, they got other people to laugh, or I shared it with my friends or whatever, and therefore they get a payoff from it. Okay, so it has to provide some kind of value, and usually a laughter is the best way to do that. So the fourth thing is you want to make it shareable. Shares really drive virality. I think the main reason this post went viral is because it, so far it has 31,000 shares. And so relatability is how you get more shares. Shares are huge again with the IG algorithm. And because this is relatable in the sense that all dads can relate to this, especially dads who lift. And even if a woman sees it, she's likely to share it with her husband or with her boyfriend or just with her audience because she's like, oh, this is how guys think. So the fifth thing here is you want to make it broad. So what I mean by broad is this really has nothing to do with my ideal client for my business. Now, in my fitness coaching business, it probably would be more relatable, but it's a lifting video. And although I'm a fitness business coach, whatever, it's more broad, right? I'm not going to expect something that has to do with me trying to provide value to you as an online health or fitness coach to necessarily go viral. Remember, you should create content that is specific to your ideal client, but don't necessarily expect those posts to go viral. And I'll give you an example here in a moment of a student of ours who used our framework that did both, right? And if you can get that to do both, great. It's just less likely. Viral posts usually come through more broad content that are more focused on like your interests, your hobbies, your values, or your beliefs. Okay, so here's how to think about the last point. I'm going to really break this down. I'm going to share screen and show you how to differentiate between broad content and narrow content. Because if you're trying to grow your audience, you need to mix in some more broad because it's going to reach a higher number of people. If you're trying to grow your business, you want to kind of narrow down a little bit more, but there needs to be a balance of both. So let's jump into that. Okay, so this is the framework that we teach inside of IFCA and the way that I want to share with you on how to think about your content strategy. So you have kind of three buckets or components. So if you're listening to this, think about this in terms of three buckets, and these buckets kind of intersect. So in the middle of this chart, you see action, because our goal is to get people to take action, whether that's to share, whether that's to follow, whether that's to DM you or to click a link in your profile. And so the three buckets are trust-based content, intimacy-based content, and then community-based content. All right, so let's break each of these down specifically. I call this the holistic to specific strategy, and I'm not going to get into the details as to why, it's just my name for it. But when you're talking about trust-based content, those are things that are specific to your ideal client that's going to build value and get people to trust you that you are an expert in your niche, right? That could be like myths and mistakes or stories and analogies to get people to break beliefs or number of tips on how to do X or stop doing this if you want to Y, or here's how to get this outcome without this thing that you really don't want to sacrifice. All right. So that's trust building content. Next, we have intimacy. Intimacy is to get people to know you better, right? More know, like, and trust with you as a person. So that could be like vulnerable stories that you share about yourself, your past, your journey. It could be entertaining based stories to get people to know you better, or just like conversation starters, things to get people to raise their hand and engage you in a conversation that can lead to booked sales calls. Now, the third bucket is community. This is viral based content. That's where you first want to think polarizing things that you disagree with, or that you can like really state your belief on something. That could be sharing your beliefs and values, or what I like to call my 3 Ps. My 3 Ps are 3 pillars of my personality that I'm passionate about. The example in the viral reel was, being a dad and being in shape, right? That's a thing that I can create content around, that I can start to create a community around, that although this brought in 600 followers, maybe 200 of those were my ideal client. Cool, because those 200 people are now going to go through my other specific content, and a lot of those will eventually become clients. Now, on top of this, the final step is action. This is where you get people to actually book a call with you, respond to a DM call to action or whatever. That could be indirect offer post or direct offer post. Okay, so let's break each of these down. I'm going to show you examples of each. So when it comes to trust, I'm going to show you Lacey, who's one of our success coaches who crushes it with organic content. I think she's gained 30,000 followers in the last month by using basically this kind of content strategy. All right, so I'm going to show you the post just as an example. So pretty simple for those listening. It's basically just like her, it's a reel, and it's her like with a selfie saying, here's what I eat in a day, being a bad bitch who prioritizes her hormones and gut health. All right. So again, it's specific to the problem that she solves. And she takes you through kind of a day of eating and her supplements and all those things. And it has a good caption. So again, that's just basic trust building content. Next, we would have intimacy based content. So again, this could be a personable, vulnerable story. For example, I've shared many times my battle with drug addiction in the past, how I was an opioid addict and nearly ruined my life. And then I was able to overcome that. So like, again, it's intimacy. It's getting people to know me better. Or it could just be simple conversation starters. So here's one that I posted after my viral reel as a follow-up that generated a lot of conversation and engagement in my DMs and in the comments. So essentially, it's me and my son Jackson walking, doing kettlebell carries, or farmer's carries, and he's holding a little, 5-pound kettlebell. I'm holding a 100-pound kettlebell. We're walking together, And it basically just says, how young is too young to begin training with your children? And then after that, like that's what pops up first. And then it says asking for a friend. And then in the comments, it's like, hey, comment here how young you started training with your children. Again, this post now has hundreds of comments, tons of DMs started from that. So again, that's intimacy based content. Now, community viral is exactly the post that I posted that went viral, right? It's a community based angle. It's around my values, my beliefs. It's more broad and it's entertaining and polarizing. It's polarizing because what's interesting is that my comments were flooded with jujitsu guys or Muay Thai guys saying like, oh yeah, you can deadlift, bro, but that's not going to help you when you get choked out from a rear naked choke. I'm like, all right, bros, whatever, just chill. Actually, funny side story. My comments were like blowing up with these guys. So what I did is, and you can do this too, go in and comment on your own post and pin something that is like funny or addressing the common thing. So what I did was I put a post and I pinned it or comment and it said, disclaimer, this is a hypothetical debate amongst elementary age kids. They aren't likely to debate around whose dad has the best takedown defense or the most effective Kimura. It's more likely whoever's dad is most jacked wins the argument. But yes, I agree. Jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, etc., are far more effective at winning a fight than deadlifting. Chill, bros. Just chill. So again, that comment, I posted it like yesterday, has 107 likes. So again, that's community content in a nutshell. Now, action, I'm going to show you guys an example of an action post. Here's an example of an action post. All right. So once you provide enough value, you've got enough equity in your audience, you can start really making a lot of calls to action and, using creative ways to make offers to get people to now book calls and become clients. And so the hook on this post basically it's a carousel slide and it says, I'm taking this post down in 24 hours. And then if we slide over, it basically is a call to action. It says, we're looking for 3 established nutrition or fitness coaches to be a case study for something we've never done before. DM me case study and I'll send you a 10-minute video with details. Here's how it works. It's explaining that we're going to install our IG growth funnel into your business, plus coach you one-on-one to optimize and scale. And we'll literally guarantee to help you sign 10 clients in 90 days. Here's how it works. And then it goes from that into an overview of the program. So week 1, one-on-one customized business planning session. We give you a done for you branded coaching software, give you impact or access to our Impact 360 marketing software, which has pre-built funnels, email, SMS, all these things to help you get more clients. And then we do a scorecard on your offer. So we help you optimize and make your offer better. Then we launch a lead magnet funnel with you using an organic attraction launch, get a bunch of clients. We also give you done for you content for a year. Then we run cash conversion campaigns to close more clients. We dial in your sales process, review your one-on-one calls, and then we launch your IG growth ads. And then we focus on back end and retention. So it's a little bit of like an overview of our offer. And then from here, we're like, you might be wondering, how can you make such a bold results-driven claim? It's because we have the most case studies in this industry and we are the longest standing mentorship company in the space. And then I show some case studies. So different Trustpilot case studies. So that way, they're not, bullshit. And then I'm like, hey, final CTA, DM me case study to learn more, blah, blah, blah. Making offers. It's really pretty simple. And if you're listening to this right now, that post was actually supposed to be taken down. But if you want to learn more about this, feel free to shoot me a DM on IG. Would love to have a conversation about helping you. But anyways, so the final thing I want to cover here is how you can potentially blend these things. What I mean by blend is sometimes you can create something that's more trust building that is specific to your ideal client, but it also has the community effect and it goes viral. When that happens, great, right? Because now we have like tons of targeted followers coming to our account. And also you can blend action in with that. Like one of our clients did that I'll share, where now she has, this post went gangbusters. This has 14,400 comments, all with a CTA to get a lead magnet from her. Okay. So this post has, the views on it are insane. It has, this post has 447,000 views, and I'm just going to play it for you. And for those listening, I'll kind of just recap it. Well, you can listen. So basically she's just like walking through a door. So she's walking, she's drinking coffee, and she's just doing a selfie video. And she's using a specific framework that we teach for advertising, for making great ad creatives. And this one just happened to go viral. So I'll play it.
Coffee first thing in the morning in perimenopause? Oh yes, please. Because spoiler alert, it's likely not the reason why you can't lose weight. Most women hear the word cortisol and immediately think it's a bad thing, but the real bad thing is too much information. So I created my free Menobelly Blaster to help you start losing weight in perimenopause and menopause for free. Like Jamie, who lost 25 pounds on her own, just following along. Comment Menobelly and I'll send a copy your way.
Pretty simple, right? And she used the framework that we teach, which is like hook, call out of your ideal client, false beliefs, which is like, most women think that they need to do this in order to get this result. What's the common mistake that so many people are making? And then it's like, instead, really, you just need to do this, the right way. And then here's a proof that it works, and then CTA, right? Really simple. So I share that because, again, once you get really good at this, you can start to see trust, intimacy, and community blend together. And when that happens, it's like rocket fuel. So again, hopefully you guys found this useful. My goal with this was to basically recap how we made this post go viral. I'm going to be trying to create more viral content moving forward because it's just kind of fun. And if you haven't listened to the post that I made or the podcast that I put out before this one, I share Alex Hormozi's content strategy and how you can use things like research, like looking up top accounts to get more ideas. So make sure to tune into that as well. And with that said, guys, if you want to learn more about IFCA and take advantage of that case study offer, all you got to do is shoot me a DM on Instagram. Just say case study. I'll have a conversation with you. First, figure out if it's a good fit, find out where you're at in your business. And from there, I'll put you on a call with either myself or somebody on our team that we can do a full customized business audit with you and figure out, where it is you're at currently. Where do you want to go? What are the exact steps we need to take to help you get there? So that way, irregardless if IFCA is a good fit, if you decide to move forward, you'll have a game plan that you can go execute. And then maybe down the road, it'll be a good fit. So shoot me a DM. We'll have a conversation, book you in for a call, go from there. Thanks, guys.